So I just finished season one of Apple TV's latest comedy, The Studio, created by Evan Goldberg, Alex Gregory, Peter Hyuk, Frida Perez, and Seth Rogen. Sorry if I mispronounced any of those names. I actually had not seen a trailer for this before I decided to watch it. I heard about it. I saw it was like a Hollywood satire starring Seth Rogen and Catherine O'Hara, two actors whom I really like, and I decided I would go ahead and check it out, at least the first episode. And yeah, I'm glad I did. I enjoyed it. This series was a lot of fun. Like this show is consistently funny. Like I wasn't thinking this while I was watching it, but after I finished the last episode, I saw another review that said that the show gave off very Curb Your Enthusiasm vibes, and I absolutely agree with that. Like that kind of sums it up a lot, really. The cast is mostly great. A lot of the guest stars are also a lot of fun. And if I had to name one actor who I thought stood out, it was Catherine O'Hara. She did a really good job here. And a weird thing I noticed is that she's listed in the main cast, but about half the episodes she is not in. Like, honestly, I kind of feel like she should have been more of a listed as a guest star with how much she was actually in the show. It was kind of weird, but that's not a big deal. It is kind of crazy how much this show kind of like mirrors a lot of controversies we're seeing in Hollywood right now. Like they bring up using AI for animation. Like we're seeing things like the Kool-Aid Man when we're like the Kool-Aid Man is in the show to get a movie when we're also seeing in real life a ton of like crazy ideas, like people saying they need to make a Monopoly movie, and it's like realistically, this is probably the Hollywood satire that like mirrors real life Hollywood the most. It's kind of crazy. Like you really don't see a lot of Hollywood satires bringing up stuff like this. I speaking of the Kool Aid movie, I'm glad they didn't only focus on that. Like, I was kind of worried after the first episode, like, is this going to be what the whole show's about? Just making this Kool Aid movie? But luckily, there's other stuff that they focus on, which was nice. Yeah, technically speaking, the show is very well made. There are a lot of oneers in here, essentially just shot like scenes that are told through like one camera angle, and the camera just follows the characters that you're supposed to focus on. They're all very impressive, and I think it's really cool that they did that in this like tribute to the beauty of movies. So those are my positives. In terms of flaws, I said great, mostly great cast. The one person I did not enjoy in the show was Catherine Hahn. I usually like Catherine Hahn. I enjoy her in quite a few things, but honestly, in this, I thought she was really annoying. I get that she was supposed to be kind of an intentionally cringy, annoying like person trying to relate to younger people, but at the same time, I was like, well, I just find her annoying and cringy, so it's not real. So it's like it's kind of working, but also kind of not. And even though I just said a lot of the oneers are very impressive, I will say there are some shots throughout the show where I kind of thought, man, you could have done a way better shot here if you weren't like limiting yourself to doing this oneer thing that you're doing. Like some shots I thought looked kind of sloppy, and I was like, you could have done a way better shot if like you were just shooting it like a regular scene. Like maybe they could have spaced the oneers out a little bit more so that way some of these shots could look a bit better. There are some story beats that go nowhere, like like I've been talking about the Kool Aid movie. There's a scene in the first episode. It ends with them kind of agreeing like this is kind of just a shallow Hollywood cash grab. But then in the middle of this season, they kind of pick back up on it, and it's like, oh, now everyone's like really excited for it. To think it's gonna unironically think it's gonna be great. And then that episode ends with something happening where again they're like, oh, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But again, then by the end of the season, again, they're all like, oh yeah, Kool Aid movie, it's gonna be great. Like we're kind of just forgetting about all these things that either the characters have done or that just the movie, like that studio has done to the movie that made people think this is gonna suck, which is kind of weird. Like I guess there are other movies where controvert like I guess there are stories where like controversies surrounding movies have been kind of forgotten, but I don't know. Just watching this show, it kind of felt sloppy the way they would just forget some things. The show has an awful cliffhanger, by the way. Like, without getting into spoilers, there's this thing that's going to happen, and it all rides on this one presentation they have to give. They never resolve that. They just end it pretty much on the presentation and never say what happens after with the consequence. And it's like, I guess that's what season two is going to address that, but like it just felt really unsatisfying to not even get anything close to an answer regarding what's going to happen regarding these consequences. And one last thing, episode 6, I want to say, the one where Seth Rogen goes to the charity gala with his doctor girlfriend. I straight up hated that episode. Like again, I said there's a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm vibes. The characters do a lot of like not good things, but at the most of the not good things they did were like funny, or at the very least relevant to like the commentary. But Seth Rogen in that episode I thought was way too unlikable. Like, I just straight up hated him throughout that entire episode. It was honestly kind of hard to watch at points. But those are some flaws, but still, overall, this is a very good show. I'm looking forward to season two. I think a lot of more people need to be watching it because I don't think it's doing great numbers, but I think the show really deserves a lot of recognition. And I'm gonna give the studio season one a B plus. So those are my thoughts on the show's first season. If you've seen it, be sure to let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more reviews like this in the future. And on that note, I will see you next time. Have a great day.